AskReddit by pretend stock now. What really successful person was ruined by one stupid thing they said? Adam Osborne, founder of the moderately successful Osborne Computer Corporation, destroyed his business by announcing future products that would greatly outperform the current models. This announcement caused all of the existing pre-orders for the current generation model to be cancelled in anticipation of a better product. The company successfully cannibalized all of its own sales, didn't have enough capital to continue R&D on the later product line, and soon folded. Thus, the term Osborne effect was born. I'm something of more on myself, Adam Osborne. Glenn Hoddle, a football manager in England who managed the national team and got sacked after expressing his view that disabled people are people who sinned in past lives and were being punished for it. Damn, guess who's gonna be disabled in their next life? Not can I, that's for damn sure. It's crazy that he got a second chance from the powers that be. That female PR editor tweeted a small group of friends about going to South Africa and hoping she wouldn't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white. Before hopping on a plane. When she got off the plane many hours later, her life was ruined. I highly suggest reading the book so you've been publicly shamed. Clayton Williams, https://en.wikipedia.org/Clayton_Williams?w/1 was a shoo-in for governor of Texas in 1990, until he made a statement that likened the crime of rape to bad weather, having stated, "If it's inevitable, just relax and enjoy it." Edit, corrected shoe to shoe. There was a local weatherman in New York who said that on the air back in the 70s. It didn't end well for him either. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/text. Gerald Ratner, who ran a hugely successful UK chain of low-cost jewelry shops. He was giving a speech at the Royal Albert Hall and said, copied and pasted from Wikipedia. We also do cut glass sherry decanters complete with 6 glasses on a silver-plated tray that your butler can serve you drinks on, all for £4.95. People say, how can you sell this for such a low price? I say, because it's total crap. He compounded this by going on to remark that one of the sets of earrings was cheaper than a prawn sandwich from Marks and Spencer's, but I have to say the sandwich will probably last longer than the earrings. Double quote. The company's share price tumbled by hundreds of millions of pounds and the company was a whisker away from total collapse. He was sacked and the company changed its name. What on earth was he thinking? Why would he say that in a speech ? Gerald Ratner ran a jewelry empire until he made a joke about his own products being crap. An M&M's prawn sandwich would last longer. Lol, one sentence ruined his extremely successful business overnight. CeeLo Green actually tweeted, someone is passed out there not even with you consciously so with implies consent, regarding sexual battery accusations. Edit, to at, another tweet said people who have really been raped remember. I mean when you're accused of something and you loudly tell the world you're guilty. The British boy band Blue were about to push to make it in the US when Lee Ryan, one of the singers, said that 9/11 at the time was blown out of proportion and went on to say something like we should be thinking about the animals instead. Lost their record deal. I love this. I hope his actual statement was the animals too with no specifics. Michael Kramer Richards shot himself in both feet with that wildly bizarre N-word rant. I watched it again recently and I cannot fathom what was going through his head. I honestly think the insanity of that one is severely understated. He didn't just say the N-word. He yelled it several times at a group of black people in his audience immediately after making a joke about lynching them. Easily the worst comedian snaps back at heckler's moment ever caught on tape. 1 × 1 = 2. And x200b. Terrence Howard. Didn't help he also beat his ex-wives. J. Thomas. Recurring character on Cheers, playing Carla's husband. Then on a radio show he made a disparaging comment about kissing Rhea Perlman and he was immediately fired. Then they killed his character by having him get run over off screen by a Zamboni machine. He was a hockey player, and at the funeral it's discovered that he was a bigamist with a second wife and set of twins. So Carla changes her name back to Tortelli so as not to be confused with the other MRS. Lubbock, just to fully erase him from the show. Ron Atkinson. Football commentator and former football manager. Inexplicably called Desi the N-word whilst on air, he thought the meg was off. I read that as Rowan Atkinson and my heart skipped for a second. No. Not Mr. Bean. Reds announcer Tom Brenneman. He got caught on a hot mic with a homophobic slur about the city of San Francisco and ended his broadcasting career. He was doing well because he also worked nationally for Fox Sports. There's a drive into deep left field by Castellanos. Donna snappy-headed host. I was an assistant in a journalism class about 7 years ago. We brought that up as an example discussing professionalism when on camera, and one of the students asked, was that in the 1960s or something? His jaw dropped when I said it was in 2007. Da Baby was on his way to being one of the biggest rappers, having been on big singles by Dua Lipa and Jack Harlow. And then, for whatever reason, decided to go on stage and say he doesn't want gays with AIDS at his concerts, and then his career completely unraveled from there. Edit. Everyone saying his fall off was bound to happen. It literally did not happen until this incident, lol. Sounds like something someone in 1985 would have said. Todd Akin. This was the legitimate rape idiot that was a shoo-in to the US Senate just because he was a Republican in Missouri. With regard to having an abortion after a woman is raped, he said, well, you know, people always want to try to make that as one of those things. Well, how do you slice this particularly tough sort of ethical question? First of all, from what I understand from doctors, that's really rare. If it's a legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down. But let's assume that maybe that didn't work or something. I think there should be some punishment, but the punishment ought to be on the rapist and not attacking the child. If your response to should a woman be allowed to get an abortion if she is raped is more than one sentence long, just stop talking. Danny Mathers, the Playboy bunny who secretly filmed a 70-year-old woman changing in a LA Fitness locker room and posted it to Snapchat. She body shamed her and as a result was sued. She was fired from her radio job and had a lifetime ban from LA Fitness. That one pissed me off so bad. My gym has a lot of older and elderly women who come kick ass and take names. I admire them and would quietly listen to their banter in the locker room. There was one really elderly woman who was lotioning up at the dressing table one day when I noticed the tattoo on her forearm. An actual Holocaust survivor they're doing pilots. That's been years ago and she's likely gone by now, but she inspired me that day to drag my ass to the gym and be grateful to be there. Danny Mathers can eat a bag of moldy dicks. There is an Irish radio presenter called George Hook that blamed a woman's clothing choices for her rape. Lost his job. And good riddance to him. He was full of shit too. Didn't believe half the stuff he said. Just said it to court controversy just like that PRC Niall Boylan. Adam Smith, a CFO at a large medical device manufacturer in Arizona, decided to go on a rant to a random drive-thru employee about Chick-fil-A donating money to anti-LGBTQ orgs and accusing the employee of being a supporter just because she was working there. He filmed the entire thing and posted it online hoping to get adulation, only to end up losing his job, being completely unemployable and ending up on food stamps. Dude really thought he was gonna get applause for shaming a poor. Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert comic strip. The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away because there's no fixing this. You just have to escape, so that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where, you know, I have a very low black population. I can't believe I had to scroll down this far to see Adams. He went away so fast, too. His publicist dropped him and in a nanosecond he was out of every paper. Lawrence Taylor. After LT retired from football, he had a moderately successful career as an analyst and pitchman in commercials. He was accused of being with a prostitute, not a huge problem, but she was underage. So, he did an interview where he said, "Look, I was just looking for a prostitute. I wasn't checking IDs or nothing. Career was over in an instant." Was it him that said, "What am I supposed to do? Cut off a leg and count the rings about being caught?" I'd say Martin Shkreli. Just the usual pharmaceutical CEO unknown to the public until his apathetic reaction in several interviews to raising the price of an HIV drug 55 times over. This led to several more unrelated controversies and it all ended in him being in the eyes of the law for several reasons. If he'd just stayed quiet, he would have had much less problems that he most likely could have swept under the rug at best. He really did shit the bed. Price gouging life-saving medicine is the norm in America, but the ones that do it hide behind the veil of a company that you've probably never heard of. He put a face to the name and became public enemy number 1. It also didn't help that he was everything most people hate, a rich smarmy little shithead with a god complex. I'm really surprised nobody said Papa John yet. He built a pizza empire and was in every commercial until the racism came out. I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. My husband and I still quote this at each other regularly. Edit to add a link, since some people apparently don't understand what quoting means. https://yahoo.be/gfapzhx178w feature shared. Keep my wife's name out your FCKN mouth. If all he'd done was yell that at the stage, there would probably have been plenty of people on his side.